Welcome back. Toledo Museum of Art is going through a reinstallation project, and to keep museum lovers up to date on all the changes in store, TMA is hosting a town hall tomorrow. Toledo Museum of Art Director Adam Levine joins us with what you can expect from tomorrow's town hall. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to be back.
Yeah, this is a huge undertaking, but it's necessary, isn't it?
It is a huge project, but it is. So the whole project is actually based on the fact that our heating and cooling system, which also filters out all the particles in the air, keeps everyone safe, keeps the artwork safe. Temperature and humidity have to be in a really tight range to keep the artwork safe. It's more than 20 years old, and believe it or not, there's actually a part of the system in the peristyle from 1933.
No kidding.
Yeah, really. So we are replacing it, and it is a massive undertaking. But to do that, when you take one of these units offline, there's no temperature and humidity control,
Sure.
so the gallery has to close anyway. So we thought, if we have to close the galleries, it's a good time for us to refurbish the entire gallery for the first time in 40 years.
May as well do it.
Well, and this community deserves it. The quality of the collection is superlative. The way that we engage community is differentiated, but the installation's 40 years old and it shows it. So now we're going to make sure that we have an installation that sparkles as much as the collection.
Yeah, beautiful. So what are things like right now? What are the, how do people get around and all of that?
Well, so this is part of the reason we're having these town halls. So we've already had a virtual town hall. We've had 2 in-person town hall. Well, we had an in-person town hall. We'll have another one tomorrow at 5:30 in the Little Theater. Okay. It's almost sold out, but for those who want to come, please do sign up and register online. And then we're going to do more virtual town halls throughout. But right now, about half the museum remains open. Okay. And then we will have phased closures, and that's what we're going to be communicating more about with our audience starting tomorrow.
Okay. So what is this all going to look like?
Well, I think we actually have a few slides to give people a sense of what they're going to see. But we are going to be actually, in some ways, bringing the museum closer to what it looked like in 1933 when it was built out. So here you're seeing a rendering. Well, we've moved. The first rendering was a rendering of what our new Impressionist gallery will look like. Okay. You know, as things come off view, people are wondering, well, when are we going to see our favorites? Well, this project is going to give us more square footage than we have currently, more linear footage, so there will be more artwork on display. So all the great things we continue to buy will be on view, and so will some of your old favorites. So in one of these images, you can see the Monet water lilies peeking through.
I love that one.
There it is, peeking right there with the Renoir landscape and the Pissarro next to it, the Lalique chandelier. Here what you're seeing is a new space that is going to be called the Stranahan Gallery, which is showing the history of what the museum has collected every decade over the years. But this is not just an installation of artwork. This is also a rethinking of how we make the most comfortable visitor experience possible. And that last image was showing you a new accessible entrance that we're going to put in at the front of the museum. It's received Old West End Historic District approval already, and it's going to allow for much easier crossing between the glass pavilion and the main sort of Beaux-Arts building. And it's so important that we are accessible to everyone. And this is the first time we're going to have an accessible entry at the front of the museum.
Yeah, that's a big deal because while the stairs are really beautiful,
not everyone can use them.
Not everyone can use them.
That's exactly right.
And the amazing thing about the museum is it being free for people to access, and we want to make sure everybody can get there.
So it's an interesting thing a lot of people don't realize. The museum wasn't always free. So the museum began only free 2 days, and it is the board has decided more than a dozen times to keep the museum free. We believe it is core to our identity that we remain as accessible as possible. We now have free parking. Yes,
which is huge too.
And we also receive no public support. So it's entirely privately funded. It's really remarkable to be free and private, and we wanted to extend that accessibility to the way that we greet visitors into the museum. So now we have this front entry, which is also accessible and at grade. Beautiful.
So this is all going to be done in what, 2027? It's going to take a minute.
2027, yep. So we will have the gallery level of the museum will be closed for a bit more than a year, but the results will be spectacular. And we have the glass pavilion, which remains open. We open our next exhibition this Saturday. as we come into the warmer weather months, we have the most spectacular outdoor gallery in the United States and the Georgia and David Wells Sculpture Garden. And we are going to be actively programming those spaces. This summer is the America's 250th anniversary. It's also the museum's 125th birthday. So we'll have a lot of programming outdoors this summer, lots of programming in the Glass Pavilion, and of course, the education wing remains open. The Toledo Museum of Art has more art classes than any museum in the United States.
I had no idea.
It's an incredible thing.
I know we've been there. My daughter's taken part in those, but I didn't realize.
Well, thank you for your support. No, the Toledo Museum of Art is a unicorn. It is the most special museum in the United States, and it's because of a great board. It's because of great past museum directors, and we have the very best staff. There's a reason we're the #1 museum 2 years in a row, according to USA Today in the United States. Big deal.
Yes.
And the team's doing a great job.
And absolutely, and that's why all this work is happening, and you can be part of this town hall. Again, it is tomorrow, 5:30, right, at the Little Theater. Where do people register for that?
Yep, so you can register. You can register online, and you can go to toledomuseum.org, and you should be able to navigate it pretty easily from the main page. And then you can always call our line, 419-255-8000, and our visitor services team will be happy to assist.
Okay. Adam, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Great seeing you too.